Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of You Can Have It All. I am your girl, your host, Leslie T. Mitchell, and I'm so excited to have you joining me today. And so if you are new to the You Can Have It All family, guess what, y'all? We cousins now. We over here, we are family. And so hello all to all my new cousins in the world today. And so I am so excited about today, y'all. Can't y'all tell? I am just so excited about this guest we have with us today. I mean, this lady is a powerhouse. She is transforming lives. She's doing some phenomenal things, not only in the kingdom, but also in the marketplace. And so my guest today is Miss Angela Lewis Warren. She is the CEO of the BTrue2U movement. She is also a talk show host. She has her own show called the BTrue2U Show. And so listen, I'm like I tell y'all, I mean, you are going to love her as we do it on You Can Have It All. Y'all know how we do. We got to put that seatbelt on, baby. We got to buckle up. We got to brace ourselves because we are going to go for a ride. When I tell you, this is a woman who loves God and his people. When I tell you, she believes that her life was created so that others can know God and turn their life around just as God was able to turn her life around. And so she's going to just share an amazing testimony, amazing story with us. And I am so excited to welcome to You Can Have It All, my good friend, my girl, Miss Angela Lewis Warren. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, and thank you.
Oh man, thank you for saying yes. And so listen, we're going to just jump right into this thing. Y'all know how we do it on You Can Have It All. Angela is now our new cousin, right? And so, because we are family on You Can Have It All. So she is our new cousin. And I'm so, like I said, excited to have her on with us today. And so Angela, let you go ahead and just tell people a little bit, about yourself.
Hello, cousins. As you know, my name is Angela Lewis Warren. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this family. I am a lover of people. I believe that I was called to encourage and motivate. And so that's who I am. My titles are some of my titles are that I am a pastor, I am a mother, I am a wife for over 26 years. I'm a believer of Christ. I'm an entrepreneur. You name it. I'm a co-host. A host of a show. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I decorate. I got multiple talents. I do a little bit of everything, but most of all, I'm a child of the Most High God.
Amen. I love it. Like y'all heard all those things Angela does, but she forgot to tell y'all she's a new, I don't know, is it Gigi? What y'all call it now, Angela?
Yeah, baby. Yeah, honey. Yes, I have my first granddaughter. She'll be 2 months this month, the 27th, and I am so in love with her. I am so in love with her. I did not think it would be like this, but honey, she melts my heart.
I love it. Yeah, I peep the pictures out on social media. You're like, this is my new baby, honey.
I be like, isn't she beautiful?
Yes, she is. And so
I be like, social media is gonna be sick of me because I don't even post my kids anymore. It's not even about them. Who cares about them?
That's how it's supposed to be, right? That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And so listen, so you are on You Can Have It All. So I always ask all of my guests before we dive into your story, when you hear the words You Can Have It All, like what does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you?
When you say you can have it all, I love that. And sometimes we feel like we can't. But to me, when you say you can have it all, I can have whatever God say it's for me with balance. I think that once we understand that we can't do um, everything at one time, but we can do whatever we want when we have balance. And so when you learn to prioritize and balance what you're doing, and then you can do whatever it takes. You can be a mother, you can be an entrepreneur, you can travel the world, you can be a wife, you can be a yaya, you can be an author, you can be whatever you want to be, as long as you know how to balance those things.
I mean, I love what you said. And so, for my You Can All Have It family, y'all know I'm big on balancing, right? And so, just to hear you say that, it means a lot because oftentimes we can get so lost, right? We can feel so overwhelmed. But the thing I
Mhm.
like to say is that you can do it in balance. You can have all those things and not have to settle, not have to become complacent, not feel so overwhelmed. And so, how do you, with all the many hats that you wear, all the titles, how do you create that balance? How do you find that for yourself?
First of all, Leslie, what we have to do is prioritize, find out what's most important to God, and then find out what need to be done first. Not everything needs to be taken care of right away. Not
Mm.
everything a fire needs to be put out with everything. Some things can wait. And so you find out what's the most important things, what has a deadline, what has an expiration date, what need to be done before a certain time. And when you find that out, then you're able to balance, you're able to prioritize, you'll know what to do first and then what not to do, worry yourself about.
I love the fact that you said you have to prioritize right first, but then you said, I want people to catch this. You said you have to prioritize what's important to God.
Hmm.
Right. And so we also have to make sure that we're keeping God first in the things that we are prioritizing. Right. Because sometimes we can prioritize what's important to us. And, we don't even ask God, so to speak. And
Right,
so that's how you can begin to be, like all over the place. Right.
right,
And doing so many different things. And another key thing you said that I loved, you said, everything is not, you don't have to do everything right then and there.
right. Right. So me, Leslie, I don't know about, most of our cousins. I hope our cousins do believe Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. And I'm not trying to tell you how to believe, but for me, I can't do anything outside of God. And so this is
Yes.
why it works for me. I don't know what they are using, what's their system, but you got to have a system. You have to have something to stand on, stand for. You have something to gauge your prioritize what you prioritize. You have to have something to gauge you. And so God is my gauger.
Oh, that's good. Listen, y'all, I told y'all this was gonna be good. I told y'all, you was gonna need to put your seatbelt on because she already dropping nuggets, right? God is our gauge, and what are you using, right, to gauge what you have going on? And so everybody on You Can Have It All, they know, honey, I love Jesus. I'm gonna talk about God. And so so
Okay,
that has already been established, honey.
that's a good thing. Whoo, now I can breathe.
Listen, it has already been established. God is over here on You Can Have It All for
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so, a lot of times people find themselves overwhelmed. People find themselves, stuck, kind of stuck. And so, was there a time in life because maybe they hadn't prioritized, right? Or maybe you hadn't prioritized where you found yourself, being overwhelmed or being like stuck, like really can't making that next move. And if it was, like, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think we all have experienced that one time or another, Leslie, because we're so busy about pleasing people, right? We
Mm,
are mothers, we're women, so therefore we are helpers. We like to nurture, we like to mother, we like to be the extended olive, we like to just be everything for everybody. And so when we're like that, that would cause us to be off balance. That would cause us
yeah.
to be overwhelmed. That would cause us to feel like we are sinking. But in that, when you spend more time with God, you have to back away, learn to say no. And when you back away and just again allow God to gauge what's most important, then you're able to take control of those things. And then those things that we can change, Leslie, we change. Those things that we can't, we just
You just
accept it for those things, accept it for what it is.
for what it is.
And so
Right.
that's it. You accept it for what it is.
Yes. And it's so interesting, a couple of things that you said, because a lot of times I hear women, I hear women say it's hard to say no, right? Or they feel guilty when they say no. And so how do you say no to things that are not a priority to you?
Okay, so this is the thing, right? We're so busy about feeling like we gotta say yes to everybody. But if you're no good, you can't be any good to anybody else. Yeah. So I learned to do unto other as I would have them do unto me, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
learned to make sure that I'm taking care of myself because I want you to take care of yourself. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do for myself. And so, in the midst of that, you learn to love yourself. And when you learn to love yourself, you learn to value yourself. And when you value
Mm,
yourself, you won't overextend yourself. because when you give, you want to give out the best of you. And if you're giving you're all of you to 19,000 people, you have nothing left for yourself. So when you take care of yourself first and you're listening to the Holy Ghost, then you know what to do and what not to do. That's my belief. I believe that we can't do everything at one time, but we can have whatever with balance.
Yeah. I mean, girl, I'm right there with you, right? I'm right there with you because so often women always tell me, it's really hard for them to say no, right? It's really hard for them to create that balance because they think they have to be, the be all to everyone. And
Hmm.
so a lot of times we learn that from watching our grandmothers or our great grandmothers. And so, we have this whole syndrome that we have to be this strong black woman. We have to carry the weight of the world, that we have to do it all, right? I always tell people you can have it all, but you don't have to do it all. And
Hmm.
so people get lost in that. And one thing you said was that you have to understand your value and
Hmm.
understand your worth. But when you tend to tell people, no, I can't do that, sometimes people can make you feel like, oh, well, you don't have time for me, or oh, you think you better than me, or oh, and so how do you deal with that, right? How do you deal with that, staying true to yourself?
Well, love that you said be true to you, be true to myself, because that's my motto. Be true to you, and everything you do, you got to always be true to who you are. And one thing I love is that I'm going to say, don't take on borrow offense, right? Just because they feel like you don't have time for them or you feel like you're better than them. And when you know that's not your truth, then you
Hmm.
can release that. But, sometimes we just have to evaluate ourselves. Why do we think that people are going to think the worst when we say no? Why do we think saying no is going to make us be looked at as far as someone who don't care, right?
Right.
Sometimes it has a lot to do with our self-esteem, how we see ourselves, again, how we value ourselves. And when you value yourself and you know from the heart of heart that you mean no harm, that you actually cannot do it or it's not pleasing to you, and you say no, and then however they feel about it, you got to be okay with it. You
Yeah.
got to be okay with it because you know that you're not doing anything to hurt them, but you are valuing who you are.
I mean, listen, I know this set some of y'all free right now because this is setting you free to understand that it's okay to say no, right? And I always tell people, if they love you, if they respect you, if they cherish your friendship or your relationship, then they won't take any offense to that, right? Because a lot of times you can't do what other people need you to do because that's not what God is calling you to do. And we have to be clear on that. And so a lot of times people are like, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I don't know what God has called me to do. How did you know, right, with your Be True to You movement that God was calling you to do that? How did that come about?
Let me tell you, it came through pain, suffering, re- rejection, wandering. But one of the things that I'm going to tell you that, because we're children of Most High God, until we find out what's our destiny, right? Our
Mm,
purpose is to witness. Our purpose is to share the good news of the gospel. In the midst of you sharing the good news of the gospel, God is going to bring alive those things that He desire you to do, right? Because when we take care of God business, He take care of ours.
amen.
And so, if you're wondering, what's my purpose today? Your purpose changed. That's what people don't understand. Purpose changed. Destiny never changed, but purpose changed. Today, my purpose was to be on your show. That was the purpose God ordained for me to do in when He formed me in my mother's womb. So my purpose was to be on this show, but my destiny is to continue to draw women in, let them know that it's okay to overcome those things that try to destroy you, that you're stronger, that greater is in you. My purpose as a whole is always going to be encouraging women, right?
Right.
But my destiny is to make sure that I'm continuing to add to the kingdom by letting you know you can overcome your shortcomings. So your purpose, you got to figure out what your purpose is for today. We think we try to figure out our purpose for our entire life, right? We're
Right.
25 and we want to know our purpose for 75 years from now. We don't know. Things change, life change.
Yes.
Situation change, people leave, you get sick. So you have to figure out what your destiny is. But in the midst of it,
Mm,
focus on what your purpose is for today, for the month, for 6 months, for 3 months, not for your life, because life
yes.
changes.
I
What do you
love
think?
that. You know, I love how you put that because so often people struggle with like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And you go on this journey, right? Because I'm a firm believer that God, birthed us with purpose, right? But I love the fact that you said that destiny. And so, like you said, our purpose changes because what my purpose was 10 years ago is not my purpose today. Right. And sometimes we can get stuck in that.
I
Are
was
we
just gonna
looking
say we get
for
stuck. We get
yeah,
stuck.
we get stuck in that. I mean, that listen, that blessed me. And it's not like because your purpose can change, but your destiny, right? What God has destined you to do remains the same. It's just like, your position in the kingdom changes, right? I mean, your position stays the same in the kingdom, but your condition may change, right? Things may
Right.
happen to you. You may go through some ups, some downs, but your position never changes. It stays the same in God's kingdom. And so, man, mm, that was good. I'm just gonna say. I hope somebody
Yeah,
caught that.
if we could take hold of that, then we will take some stress off ourselves. We add so much stress to ourselves because we're looking at people and we feel like, oh man, they know what they're meant to do. They're doing it. They've been doing it for 10 years. Yeah, that's what God has called them to do, but they didn't start off where you see them. They didn't start off where they see them. So you have to figure out what is it that God wants you to do today. Then what did he want you to do 3 weeks from now? Short-term
Mhm,
goals. Short-term
mhm.
goals will take you to that long-term goal. And when we bite it off, apple bite by bite, we can eat the whole apple.
That was a great analogy. Listen, that was a great analogy, girl.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, really quickly, we are going to take a commercial break really quickly, and we are going to be back. Y'all, I told you this was going to be so good. I mean, Miss Angela Lewis Warren, she is already dropping some gems. She is blessing us. And so, she has more to share. We're going to get into her ministry, her business, what she does, all of that good stuff after our quick commercial break. Hey everybody, this is your girl Leslie T. Mitchell, and I'm excited to be coming to you today to invite you to be an exclusive member of my new VIP club, You Can Have It All. And so you're probably saying, well, Leslie, what is this mastermind all about? We're going to be talking about equipping you, educating you, and empowering you on how to live your best life now. We're going to be focused on 3 pillars: building, business, and lifestyle. And so in order for you to be a part of this community, all you have to do is click on the link below. See you soon. All right, all right, all right. So we are back. We are back with none other than this powerhouse, this beautiful woman of God, Angela Lewis Warren, doing life with Angela. And so, Angela, I know you are a serial entrepreneur, right? And so, let's talk about, your businesses. Let's talk about, how you got, I know you're a cosmetologist for 20 plus years, maybe longer than that. I don't want to tell
30.
the age, 30.
Yeah.
30 plus years. But let's talk about your business and what it is that you do.
Okay, so I've been a cosmetologist for 33 years. I've literally
Wow.
graduated from high school with my license the same time I graduated with my diploma. I am a boutique owner. I do hosting my own talk show as well. I'm a pastor. And so I do a little bit of everything. I decorate for events as well. But my heart is coaching, which is to encourage people to overcome their shortcoming, that it's okay
Mm.
to be a misfit, and that in the middle of you being a misfit, that greatness is in you. And so that's my purpose. I have a boutique online. I also have a YouTube channel as far as doing life with Angela, where I share tips of fashion, encourage women of 50 or plus to dress with trend. That is, you can't, you never lose your fabulousness. So I teach
Yes.
that. I teach people to be fabulous in everything they do. And when I say fabulous, not just your look, it's about how you show up in the world for yourself, show up in the world for others, like we're talking about, as well as balance and having it all. And we just do it through fashion as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where my heart is right now, that and doing whatever God has called me to do. Just newly been ordained as a pastor, been a minister for over 12 years, been prophesying over 10 years, but now I'm going into pastoralship. And so, just letting God do what needs to be done. But as far as entrepreneurship. I'm an author, you guys. I've written books. I've did, like I said, shows, parties, and my most money come from me being a stylist for over 33 years. I cut your hair off. You see, I don't have
I listen. I love.
none.
I love it. I love it. So I know you've written several books. So tell us about, tell us about, and I have one of your books, and I forgot to bring it with me. But yeah, let's share like some of your books that you've written, and how where do they come from? The titles and things of that nature. How you were able to come up with those, and what like one of your main books that you love.
Okay, my newest book is the Tips to Being Fabulous. Like I said, it's called Tips to Being Fabulous. You can get it off my website. And that's again just telling people some of the things that they can use that whenever they show up ready. You don't have to get ready, you show up ready. My
Mm,
first book that I ever written was Be True to You.
yes.
And Be True to You was about me overcoming a scandal and how God allowed me to not come in a form of anger, because when you tell your story, you want to justify who you are, you want to
Yep.
justify and tell
Yep.
your part of the story. And when I did that, I was calling myself clearing my name. But in the midst of me writing the book,
Mm,
God said it wasn't about that. And so it became a self help book. How do you overcome? How do you overcome rejection? How do you overcome being ridiculed or feeling like you're not good enough or not wanted? And so in that, God had taught me how to use my pain for his glory, how to use my test for a testimony. And those that misery became a message. And so what
wow.
am I saying? I'm saying, sometimes we don't understand. We go through things not for us, Leslie, but we go
Yes.
through so that once we come across someone else, we can help them get through it. And so
Yes.
that's what my book was about, is to help you come those things that thought came to destroy you, but yet God overcome those things that made you feel like you wasn't good enough, but with God you're more than enough. Overcome
Mhm.
those things that tell you that you're absolutely nothing, but he tell you that you're greater. Overcome your surroundings, your worldview, where you felt like a misfit, and know that God created you. Why greatness is in us, right? We was created by greatness. And so that's what the Be True to You book is about. It's about you can have it all, like you're saying. You can overcome. You can look at your past and not be held down by the fire of your past, but you can move
Mhm.
forward and you can overcome anything when you put Christ first.
I mean, you can just like you said, you can overcome anything. That's the key. What people forget when you put Christ first.
Hmm.
Right? When Christ is the center of your life, when he's ahead of your life, then you can't overcome those challenges, those obstacles, those things that you thought you would never be able to come back from. And so I just love like even the title of your book and the title of your show is Be True to You, because so often we're not true to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to be what everyone else want us to be. We're trying to fit, into this mold, now with social media, which most people lives are not really real on social media. We're trying to fit into a mold that God didn't create us to be. And so I love the fact that you're helping, just women, but also men too, because sometimes men, they have identity crisis, right? They go through
Mhm.
some things, but I know your passion and heart is for women and helping women to just really be true to who they are. And we hear that so much, like being your true authentic self. But I love the fact that you says, what does that look like? And so
Yes.
help people to understand kind of like what, because we hear that term all the time, be your true authentic self, right? But
Yeah.
what does that look like? And then at what cost does that, what there's a cost to that, right? Because sometimes
It
when tell
it
about
is definitely a cost of being true to yourself, because
Mhm.
a lot of time people don't want truth, right? So truth doesn't always look good. And
Right.
when we say be true to you thinking you're showing up in your glam, showing up wearing what you want to wear, showing up, saying whatever you want to say. No, but that's not what being true to you is really about. Being true to you is understanding and accepting who you are when no one is looking. When you don't have on makeup, when you're not in the best position in life, being true about that thing, sitting with how it feels, sitting with what it looks like. And in that, you those things that you can change, Leslie, you change. Those things that you can't, you be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what being true to yourself is about. When you're real with God, you be true to others, you can be true to you. And
Yeah.
so when you're real with God, real God sees
Mm,
everything. We can't hide
exactly. We can't
anything.
even, I was gonna say, girl, we can't
We
even
can't
hide.
hide anything from God, Leslie. But
Mm,
we would show up and we would say something that we don't mean. We would do
yes.
something knowing that we're not doing it from our heart. We'll go some places that we don't want to go because we're trying to what, save face. That's not being true to who you are, because you're killing yourself, because you're not being, the inside of you are dying because you're so busy trying to polish out the outside so people can accept you. And so when I say be true to you, really understanding who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what makes you laugh, what makes you cry, what's your trigger. We don't know those things because we're so busy just moving around in life that we don't sit down and spend
Yeah.
time with ourselves and ask ourselves that question. It's so many women, when I ask what make them laugh, they don't know.
Mm,
What's your favorite flower? They don't know if they have a favorite flower. They don't know if they don't like a favorite flower. They don't have a great memory because they're so busy just like a mouse on a wheel,
they
that they're not
constantly
taking time
spinning.
to sit
Yeah.
in themselves.
Yeah.
Quiet time.
Quiet
Evaluate
time.
yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And sometimes, it's hard to do, right? It's not something that's easy to do because, like you said, we can't hide from God, even though we may try to mask it, right? We can hide from everyone else, but we cannot hide from God. And when you take that quiet time and you just sit with yourself and you really examine, like, who am I? Right.
Mhm.
Like you said, what's my favorite color? What do I like? What do I sometimes, those are some, and ask yourself those hard questions. Am I, a people pleaser, right? Because sometimes people are people, like,
Right.
just really asking yourself those hard, am I trying to always fit in? Like, do I
Do
like
I even
being
like myself?
right? I was like, do I even like
Do
myself?
I like me? You know.
Man, it's not an easy task, but it's something that we must do. It's something that is needed in order for you to truly walk into, your greatness. In order for you to truly walk into the things that God has called you to do, you have to know who you are, and not only that, who you belong to. And when you know
Mhm.
that, you can say no without feeling guilty, right? You can
Mhm.
right, you can show up as your true authentic self and be really being true to you, but you got to put in the work. And so often, people don't want to put in the work.
Mm-mm.
They don't want to put in the work. And
Yeah, and
so,
I say you can never change nothing that you're not willing to confront, Leslie. If you're not willing to confront it, you can't change it. If you don't deal with the underlying issues, things will stay the same. And so you got to get to that place where you're okay with who you are and evaluating your real authentic self so you can show up in your truth.
and your truth. And so with your coaching, and so what are some things, like, with your coaching? So you're coaching women to help them show up as their true self, right? And so, let's talk about your coaching and what the coaching you offer and all of those things.
So I do mostly group coaching, and I call myself the confidence coach, because when you come from a place of rejection, when you come from a place of being a misfit, and then you are able to accept what a misfit is, meaning that we don't fit in at every place. We're not accepted, and we're not called to every event. But when you get to the point where you're okay with who God has created you to be, then you stand up and you're strong. You stand up stronger. You stand up in truth. And so my walking in confidence coaching, what I like to do, I have a program called Walking in Coaching, Walking Confidence. I try to show you what true confidence is. Confidence is,
Mm,
it wavers. Someday I may have confidence in my figure today. Tomorrow I might not. Sometimes, what's the underlying issue is causing me to have low self-esteem. I try to get people to look at those things, look at the things when you was growing up, see where that seed was planted. And then once you see where those seeds are planted, we can see what need to be plucked up and we can see what need to be watered. And so it's all about showing up in confidence. And when I know we say have confidence in the word, right? Have confidence in God. But
mm-hmm.
even in that, with that, you have to have confidence in who God has called you to be in order to enter
Yes.
into a room. You got to be okay with what room you enter, whether or not you feel like, or someone feel like you don't have the right education. You got to be confident to
Mm,
walk in that room, even though, because God will open the door for you. Whether or not somebody say that you don't have enough knowledge for this, you got to be confident that God is going to open up the mouth when you speak, and He's going to speak through you. And so that's what I like to do. And I like to do group setting. I do conference as
love
far as
it.
bringing women together, and so they can overcome. Take a deep breath and go again. I had a conference that's called Catch Your Second Wind, because sometimes
Mm,
we experience things in life, and now we don't go anymore. We don't do anymore. We don't
True.
believe anymore. We don't strive anymore because the wind has been knocked out of us. And so I bring people back into a environment to speak life into them, have other people speak life into them, and to let them see them from God's eyes and not from man.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love Catch Your Second Wind.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It really was. It
Wow.
was God. It really
Oh
was.
man.
And
How
I
did
do
what did that
conference for free too, because this conference was for free. Some I do um for pay, but when I do my coaching, whether I do it online, I do group coaching, I'll charge. But sometimes God will say, do it free. And I know when he say do it free, I know he's gonna do a movement. And so I'm just here to do what he say do, when he say do it, and how he say do it. And the rest will
I
come.
love it. I love it. I love it. So tell us what's coming next with Angela Lewis Warren. Like what you have coming in the pipeline, any conferences, any, what you have coming up.
November 18th, we're working on a conference. Is well, not so much as a conference, going to be a gala. It says "Cancer Have No Boundary," because cancer touch everyone. It touch any
Hmm.
parts of your body. It touch all family member. It doesn't have any it doesn't care no boundary. It'll touch
Yep.
your aunt, your sister, your mom, your dad, your
Right.
brother, your babies. It'll
Hmm.
touch your brain, your liver, your lungs. So cancer have no boundary. And so we're gonna do a gala where we're gonna come together. We're gonna honor those that have suffered loss, as well as those who fought the battle and won over cancer. And we're gonna bring in some education, because a lot of things we just don't know. We
Yes.
focus so much on breast cancer, but it's so much out there: brain cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer. You name
Hmm.
it. My mom just battled lung cancer, and so I have an uncle that died from pancreatic cancer. So we're just going to come and love on and educate people around us. So that's the next thing that I'm coming up, as well as I do live, not live, I do live BTrue2U Talk show every Monday at 7 p.m. And every 2 weeks, I drop a new video about fashions and tips on life, doing life with Angela, YouTube, as well as Instagram and Facebook.
I love it. I mean, man, I love as you said, even with, your event you have coming up, your gala you have coming up in November, because like you said, cancer touches all of us in some form or fashion, even if you're not the one who, maybe having on the illness, a family, just being a family member, a caregiver, like it touches, so many people. And I love that you're going to, honor those, right? Honor those and spread awareness. Like you said, we always hear about, breast cancer. I have a nephew who had stomach cancer, he's just graduated from high school, but he had got diagnosed about 10 years ago, and he's a survivor, right? He just graduated from high school, so it impacts so many families, around the world, and
Mhm.
so that is amazing. And so we can't wait to, I'm sure you're gonna be posting up all about that, to get more information on that gala event. And then I love your Be True to You Talk show. And so you said that happens on Mondays, right? Is it every Monday?
It was every Monday at 7 p.m. I got a little, let me step back and make sure this is what God want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're coming back to every Monday at 7 p.m. because I don't want to I'm at a place, Leslie. I just had a 55th birthday, right? And it took me to step back in that 55th birthday. I don't want to do things anymore just to do it.
Just
I
to
don't
be
want to do
human.
it because it sounds good. I don't want to do it just because it looked good.
Yes.
It's not of God. I don't want to do it. And so I had to, again, like I tell everybody else, step back and reevaluate your life and see what your purpose is for this time. And so God is bringing that back to me. He's, giving me the love, the hunger for it. And
For
so
it
I know
again.
that it's of Him. I
Yeah.
try to throw away, but to God be the glory. I have a husband that does everything for me behind the scenes, so he does not let me give up. Even when I say, "Not today, I don't want to do it," he gets up, he set up the camera, he turn on the lights, he like, "Get up there and talk." I was like, "Okay, nevertheless." So I know that God is using him to keep me accountable, and I know that's what
Yes.
God is calling me to. So I'm just excited, Leslie, to be in this place right now where I know that I'm walking in obedience. And sometimes that doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that don't get us everything that we think we want, but in the
Mm-hmm.
long run, it always worked together for our good.
That is so true. I mean, that's so true what you said. And somebody needs to hear that. Sometimes, it's not always pretty, right? It don't always feel good. We don't always feel like showing up. But like you said, when, God has a calling on your life, when God is, having you to do something, you don't really have a choice, right? Even when the midst, because you still going through, you can still be going through, and God said, but I still need you to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in the midst of you going through. And so just to be able to have that accountability partner through your husband is amazing, right? Because you need that support. You need somebody in your corner who's going to be there. And so, a lot of times I meet women who are, married, and we're going to just shift gears really quickly. And because you brought up your husband, who are married, and sometimes they don't have that support, right? And so it could be hard. And so we're blessed. My husband, he supports me in all the endeavors, right, that I do. And so it's a blessing to have someone, who sees what God is doing in your life, right? And is there to support you and there to push you. Because like you said, sometimes I don't feel like showing up, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we just don't feel like showing up,
Yeah.
but they're there to, continue to elevate, continue to push. And so we need that
Yeah.
accountability.
I tell people I'm nothing, honey. I only look good. If I look good to you, it's because of him, because I don't know how to do nothing. Okay. I just sit down and be like, hello, I do nothing. Just like I was telling you earlier. When it come down to computer, all those things, that's just not my forte. Listen, I do hair. I'll blow dry it, I'll relax you, I'll color you, I'll dye you, that kind of stuff. I'll cut you. But when it come down to this computer thing and everything, I'm learning. I'm embracing it, shall I say.
I love it. Embracing. I used to tell people I'm low tech, but I'm high check. But but I've
Okay.
learned, but I've
Okay.
learned, I've learned the
Oh, I be
technology.
like, mm-mm. I be like, what would I do if something happened to you? You better stay healthy, honey, because other than that, Jesus is gonna have a problem.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact how you all show up together. Like I follow, your husband and you and how you all show up together. I just love, on your social media, how y'all hanging out, y'all just doing life together. And I think, we need to see that, right? Because there's this stigma that, black couples don't last or marriages, like there's always something going on. And so I just love the fact how you all show up, right? How you
Thank,
show
thank,
up. And it's
thank
just
you,
inspiring. And so I just
thank
want to
you.
tell you that I love that. I love that.
I appreciate it. It's going to be 27 years in November. November 2nd will be 27 years as far as marriage. Has it always been easy? Absolutely not. Is he the best thing for me? Heck yeah. Did I realize it when I first married him? No. And so, what am I saying is that, when you know that God has ordained some things, it's not always easy, but you got to choose. It's all about a choice. Choose to put your best foot forward, right? And I wrote in my book, the book I talked about, BTrue2U Talk Show, the BTrue2U book, that my husband, to me, is an example of how God loves me, right? I
Mm,
believe God gave me my husband to show me just how much he loved me. I say that to say, when I was first married to my husband, I wasn't the nicest person, because they used to say that I was so mean. They said he was going to leave because I was so mean. So I figured, let me be mean real quick, really, really mean. And if he going to leave, he'll speed up and leave. But no matter what I did, all he did was show me that he loved me. And I believe that's what
mm.
God does. In the midst of us doing stupid things, in the midst of us walking away, he yet loves us. Jesus died on the cross when we wasn't even thinking about him. And so my husband shows that love for me. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. Do he get on my nerves? Yes, he does. Would I keep him? For sure.
Yep,
For sure.
for sure. I
So
love it.
yeah, that's what it is. So, and in our marriage, and you see us, we have a Woody and Angela Instagram page. I share the good. I share what we go through. We share our life, and we don't share our life because we're rich and famous. We share our life because we believe that people need to see that Black women and men do have love for each other,
Right.
and that we overcome. And you can
Hmm.
enjoy life without having the biggest house, the biggest cars, travel to Paris, and then listen. We go to Georgia and Alabama, and we be happy. So
Yes, I love it.
that's it, honey. And that's what it is. You take what you got and you make the best out
And
of
you
it.
make the best of it. Oh my God. Well, I cannot believe our time is almost winding. up. And I mean, you have truly blessed those. I know everybody who's watching, like they have been blessed by just all the nuggets, everything that you've shared. And so how can they follow you? How can they contact you? How can they, get with Angela Lewis Warren?
Well, first of all, Leslie, let me tell you again, thank you so very much for having me. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at doinglifewithangela.com, doinglifewithangela.com, as well as you can follow me on social media all across the board at Doing Life with Angela. And you also can follow me at BTrue2U Talk Show across the board. That's how you can find me, Doing Life with Angela or BTrue2U Talk Show.
All right, everyone. So you have heard it. Again, thank you so much, Angela, for being on today. You can have it all. Where we believe that you can have the life you deserve, the life that God has destined you to deserve, without settling and without becoming complacent. And so, until next time, everyone. Love you, mean it. This is bye bye.
Bye.